1975, we moved. My dad, both Mom and Dad were teachers, and they ended up getting out of teaching, and we moved to Thibodaux. My dad was from Thibodaux. So at that point, my mom probably had been suffering from depression. I was 11. I had two older brothers, one just a couple years older and one 5 years older. And very strong family, very Catholic. Once we moved, I think it was February of '75, she pretty much, by that August, we were building a house, and she ended up crashing and ended up in the hospital. They don't say it anymore, but it was pretty much the nervous breakdown. So from that point forward, she suffered, and she was manic, and now they say bipolar, but she definitely had highs and lows. So I pretty much helped raise my little sister, who's 7 years younger, and my brothers, they were there, you know, they were a little bit older, but pretty much took the motherly figure. And then when she was up, but when she was down, she was in bed for weeks at a time, sometimes 6 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks was on the high end, but roller coaster. Over the years, she would end up in the hospital and then come back and would be full swing, but the lows were pretty low. From age 11, yeah, I was 11, and I was in, I think, fifth grade, and then 6th grade on, and my little sister was in kindergarten when she pretty much had the nervous breakdown. So yeah, it was a roller coaster, and helping feed. My dad was, at that point, he was a mud engineer, got into the oil industry, and did that for a long time. And then when the economy got bad, he started working on, he was a sales rep, and then ended up becoming a mud engineer and worked offshore. So that was he could get away from it for a while, but he loved my mother to the 9th degree and stuck with her for years till he died in 17. But she had struggles with taking medicine, which is a pure sign of manic, thinking you're feeling good, so you stop taking medicine. So that's why it was a roller coaster. But my dad stuck with her, and he was the glue that held everything together, but he was also her protector. So he didn't, over the years, with taking medicine, he had struggles with forcing her to take it, or watching on the background, kind of just pushed it under the rug, and we'd start over. Once she would come back up, we'd start over. And till this day, she never took her medicine properly. So I think that took a toll on us. And now, my dad died in 17, and by that point, every several years she would end up in the hospital, and it was a struggle. People handle it differently. With my sister and I think it's made us stronger, and I think my brothers had more of a female figure. I think it affected them differently. I think it made me more nurturing and loving and understanding for people. And I think it's in my nature, and I am the go-between. But I think I'm not saying it opened doors, but it's made me more loving. And I know at times, like now, you know, not having that loving motherly figure. She was, because I had 11 years. I mean, she was perfect. And I know those are my memories, and then the crash and burn. But I think it's helped me grow in that direction, you know, with people, and being understanding and loving, and with my own family. And I guess I've always been that, lack of a better word, yeah, I was always the mediator, still am in everything. Everything's on the brighter side than, more positive. And I have my moments now with her living with us. I have a wonderful, Brent is the best. He helps with her, he feeds her, he feeds all of us. And I think that's where it's taken me with my mom. Though I have my moments and I question, I'm like, why? Why is this? But you move on from that and you learn from your past and you continue on. We've been married 37 years, and I would say the children were young, and very young, because we knew they had the nursery, but we wanted our children to sit in church and be able to behave. So we ended up, it was probably around when they were in preschool, give or take, and Brent's brother Dee and sister Wendy and her children. So we had 9 children here, and then born during the way. But we were all here, still Catholic. I would go back and forth with the children. But then at a certain point, actually 12 years later or whatever, James, our youngest, graduated. At that point is when I started, I think it was 2017, he graduated, and I decided to go ahead and help with the ministry and became a Sunday school teacher. And pretty much, I really wish I would have done it a lot sooner. It might have brought a lot of answers, but my children, like I said, grew up in the Catholic Church, but they grew up here in Sunday school. Miss Amanda Shaman, who we love, and Miss Jane. So I looked up to these ladies all throughout our time here, and I'm not saying I don't have regrets, but because I was involved, but I was still spread thin with trying to help them at school and do things and working full time. I couldn't divide my time and be a Sunday school teacher back then. So I was blessed in that respect when it came about. It was perfect timing when after James went on to college and got me involved, and I love it. I love it being with the people and the children, and it was just perfect timing. I was still taking, my mom lives with us part-time. Every 6 to 8 weeks we switch over with my sister, and I was still taking her to Catholic church. I would actually go to both services. I would come here, and then at lunch or that evening I would go to Catholic church with my mom. So I did that for a few years, and finally my heart was here, and with the people and the Sunday school, and it filled a gap. I wanted to be with Brent here too, because he was involved, going through with the board or in SPR, the whole 9 yards, and it just filled a void. And I wanted to be, I was split between the two for years, and then it's such a family deal at Blackwater that I felt this was my home. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but put your faith in God and He will get you through it, because we had some really struggles with my mom along the years, and it can leave you very bitter in any aspect. But I think being involved and getting out there and serving God and loving, wrapping it all in one, I think just putting your trust in God and everything, there is a bright side to things. It may look pretty dim at times, but I think just put your trust in God and loving Him and knowing He will get you through it.